In the dusty heart of a forgotten frontier town, where the sun baked the earth into cracked clay and the wind whispered secrets of despair, a young woman named Elena stood chained on a makeshift auction block. Her wrists were bound in rusted iron, her once vibrant dress torn and stained from weeks of hardship. The crowd, rough miners, opportunistic traders, and idle onlookers, guffawed as the auctioneer barked his crude jests. "Step right up, gentlemen. This fine filly from across the border, fresh off a debtor's wagon. Who'll bid for a bride in chains? She'll cook, clean, and maybe warm your bed if you're lucky." Laughter erupted like thunder, echoing off the wooden facades of saloons and stables. Elena's eyes, dark and defiant, scanned the faces, her heart pounding not with fear, but with a quiet rage born of betrayal. She had crossed mountains and rivers to escape poverty, only to be sold like livestock by the very man who promised her freedom. Elena hailed from a small village in the sun-drenched hills of Mexico, where her family scratched a living from stubborn soil. Her father, a proud but broken farmer, had fallen ill, and debts piled higher than the harvest ever could. In a desperate bid, he arranged for her to marry a distant relative in the north, but the journey turned treacherous. Bandits ambushed their caravan, and in the chaos, Elena was captured and traded to slavers who saw profit in her beauty and resilience. Now, at 22, she stood humiliated, her dreams of a better life shackled as tightly as her body. The bids started low, mocking offers from drunken fools who saw her as entertainment rather than a person. $10, one shouted, eliciting more chuckles. 15, but only if she dances first. The auctioneer's hammer hovered, ready to seal her fate to the highest bidder's whims. Amid the jeers, a solitary figure pushed through the throng. He was an older man, weathered by years under the relentless sun, his face etched with lines of sorrow like canyons carved by time. Mateo Ruiz, a rancher from the outskirts, where his sprawling land met the endless horizon. He rarely ventured into town, preferring the solitude of his cattle and the ghosts of his past. His wife had died young, leaving him to raise their only son, Javier, alone. But Javier wasn't like other boys, a childhood fever had left him frail, his body weak and his spirit dimmed. Mateo had come to town for supplies, not spectacle, but something in Elena's unyielding gaze caught him, a spark of life that mirrored the fire his late wife once held. As the laughter peaked, Mateo raised his hand. $50, he said, his voice steady but low. The crowd hushed for a moment, then burst into fresh mockery. "Old man Ruiz thinks he can handle a wild one like her? Ha! You'll break your back before she breaks those chains." The auctioneer grinned, sensing a real bid. 50, going once, anyone else? Come on, boys, don't let the lonely rancher steal the show. More bids trickled in, pushing the price higher, but Mateo matched each one, his expression unchanging. Finally, at $100, a small fortune for a man like him, the hammer fell. As the slaver unlocked her chains, the crowd's laughter swelled again, catcalls flying like arrows. But Mateo stepped forward, his eyes meeting Elena's with a gentleness that surprised her. "Come with me," he murmured. Then, loud enough for all to hear, he added, "My son needs you." Whispers rippled through the onlookers. His son? That sickly boy? What good is a chained bride to a kid? Elena, rubbing her raw wrists, followed Mateo to his weathered wagon, her mind swirling with confusion and cautious hope. The ride to the ranch was silent at first, the landscape shifting from town bustle to vast plains dotted with mesquite and distant mountains. Mateo glanced at her occasionally, his calloused hands steady on the reins. "I'm not what you think," he said finally. "I didn't buy you for myself. Javier, he's 10 now, but the fever took his strength. Doctors say he won't see adulthood without care. His mother gone, and me. I'm no good at tenderness. He needs a woman's hand, someone to teach him, to make him fight for life." Elena's heart softened a fraction, but suspicion lingered. "And what of me? Am I to be a servant, or worse?" Mateo shook his head. "Free as the wind, once we're home. Help my boy, and you'll have a place, or go your way with wages earned." The ranch was modest, a adobe house flanked by corrals and a small garden fighting against the arid soil. Javier waited on the porch, his thin frame propped against a post, eyes wide with curiosity rather than fear. He had his father's dark hair but a fragility that tugged at Elena's soul, reminding her of her younger siblings back home. "Papa, who's she?" the boy asked, his voice a whisper. Matteo knelt beside him. "This is Elena. She's come to help us." That first night, Elena bathed in a tin tub, the chain's marks fading under soap and water. She cooked a simple meal, beans and tortillas, flavored with herbs from the garden, and watched as Javier's face lit up at the taste. "It's like Mama's," he said softly, and Matteo's eyes glistened in the lamplight. Days blurred into weeks, and Elena found herself weaving into the fabric of their lives. She tended the garden, teaching Javier about plants that healed, drawing from her village knowledge. "See, Mijo," she'd say, using the endearing term without thinking, "this aloe soothes burns, like kindness soothes the heart." Javier, confined mostly to bed or chair, listened raptly, his laughter growing stronger with each story she shared, of fiestas under starry skies, of families bound by love despite hardship. Matteo worked the land tirelessly, but evenings brought quiet conversations by the fire. Elena learned of his losses, a drought that claimed half his herd, the wife who fought valiantly against illness. "I thought solitude was my lot," he confessed one night. "But seeing you with Javier, it's like light breaking through clouds." Yet, doubts crept in. Elena missed her family, the vibrant chaos of her village. Letters were impossible, the border was a wall of uncertainty. And Javier's condition worsened with the changing seasons. Coughs racked his body, fevers returned like unwelcome guests. One stormy night, as thunder shook the ranch, Elena sat by his bedside, sponging his brow. "Why do you stay?" Javier asked through chattering teeth. "Papa bought you, but you could run." The question pierced her. She had considered it, slipping away under cover of darkness. But looking into his innocent eyes, she realized the chains that once bound her were nothing compared to the invisible ones of compassion. "Because sometimes, Mijo, we choose our chains. Yours is illness, mine was despair. But together, we break them." The unexpected turn came with the arrival of a stranger. A slick-talking land speculator from the city, drawn by rumors of silver veins beneath Matteo's ranch. He offered a fortune, enough to buy doctors, medicines, a new life. Matteo wavered, the temptation gnawing at him. For Javier, the man pressed. "Sell, and your boy lives like a king." But Elena overheard, her heart sinking. The ranch wasn't just land, it was legacy, the soil soaked with Matteo's sweat and tears. That night, as Matteo paced the porch, Elena confronted him. "You'd sell your soul for hope? What of the boy learning to love this place?" Matteo sighed, revealing a deeper truth. The speculator was no stranger but a distant cousin, pressuring him with old family debts. "If I don't sell, he'll foreclose. We're ruined either way." Profound realization dawned on Elena like the first light of dawn. She wasn't just a helper, she was part of this fragile family. Rummaging through her few belongings, she found a locket, her mother's, containing a tiny map to a hidden spring her village elders spoke of, rumored to hold healing waters. It was folklore, but in desperation, it sparked an idea. "Take me to the border," she urged Matteo. "My people know remedies the doctors don't. Trust me." Skeptical but desperate, Matteo agreed. They loaded the wagon, Javier bundled in blankets, and set off under starlit skies. The journey was arduous, dust choking their throats, heat sapping their strength. Bandits lurked in the shadows, but Elena's sharp wits and Matteo's rifle kept them at bay. Crossing into familiar territory, Elena's heart swelled at the sight of her village. Her family welcomed them with open arms, tears flowing like rivers. "Hija, you've returned," her mother cried, embracing her. But time was short, Javier's breaths grew shallower. Guided by elders, they trekked to the sacred spring, its waters cool and clear amid ancient ruins. Elena bathed Javier in the pool, whispering prayers passed down through generations. "Let kindness flow like this water," she murmured, washing away pain. Miraculously, or perhaps through the power of belief in nature's hidden gifts, Javier's fever broke that night. Color returned to his cheeks, strength to his limbs. The elders shared herbs and tonics, teaching Elena and Matteo how to brew them. But the true healing was deeper, the bond forged in adversity. Back at the ranch, fortified by the village's support, Matteo confronted the speculator. This land stays ours, he declared, revealing letters from Elena's kin offering alliance against the debts. The cousin backed down, outmaneuvered by unexpected unity. The emotional climax unfolded one golden evening, as Javier, now walking unaided, ran to Elena in the garden. "Mama Elena," he called, the words slipping out naturally. She froze, tears streaming. Mateo approached, his voice thick with emotion. "You didn't just save my son, you saved us all. Marry me, not out of debt or duty, but love?" Elena, her heart overflowing, nodded. "Yes, for the family we've become."